Hello, people. This should be interesting. See, I have a few people watching. How are you all doing? I apologize, I'm coughing. I should probably stop doing that. Hi there, my name's Mark. I am a developer advocate for Google Cloud Platform, founder of Agones, and thanks for hanging out with me. Hopefully that won't be too annoying. I am going to be working on some open source stuff today. So, what am I hanging out and doing today? So this should be really interesting. So pretty much the last 2 hours, myself and several other people on the Agones project, which is a project for running game servers on top of Kubernetes, have pretty much been working on this pull request here. Excuse me, which is a Helm integration for installation and updating of our project. It's been kind of cool. Someone else has been doing a lot of this work. I've kind of just helped along to kind of push it over the line. So it should be really interesting today to have a chat about it because I don't know a lot about it. So we're going to end up doing some exploration while we're here today as well. So if you're not familiar with Helm, Helm's a way of doing packaged applications for Kubernetes, which is quite nice. And we started moving across to this, which I think was really cool. Was because if you see here, this was our install YAML. If you're not familiar with Kubernetes, it's a lot. It's basically declarative YAML. It's a lot of configuration. And as our system got more and more complicated, it got really long and it was getting really unwieldy. And you may also notice little things in here like this. That'd be my dog in the background. You'll see little things in there like this, which is like image pool policy and stuff like that. So we had just some really basic templating using sed, and we still have it. It's not completely switched over yet. But we were running 2 install files. So we had the main install file, which is in, where it is now as an install YAML. So this is like our production one here, which didn't have that. And then we had a development one, and it was getting really messy, keeping them in check and like, and working out, making sure they were in sync and that kind of stuff. So right now things are a little better in that we have a basic install YAML here. Sorry, not a basic install. We have a basic Helm chart, which is in here. Let me know if that's if these are big enough. We have a README with like basically how to do all this stuff and how to use it. So right now this is actually set up just for installing the release version of what we have, 0.1. But what I want to do today is try and make it so that it's easier to use for a development version, which is actually kind of more important for us right now, and start to shift some of that out. So I have an instance of Minikube. It's running 1.9.0. Cool. Now, everything that's in this project is actually all Docker based. It's like make and Docker base. Yeah, afraid touch as I am hooked. This is fun. So everything in here is make and Docker based. So if you've watched me before, if I want to create a shell, I just make Minikube shell, and then I've got this Docker container that has all my stuff in it. As that changes, that gets updated, which is also cool too. Anyway, so I have this shell. I'm actually going to flip that because I did that last time. It was much easier to see things. And right now I need to install Helm. So we're going to install Helm. So let's actually do an install of this. It says Tiller is already installed. So Tiller is the process that runs inside Kubernetes. So sweet. I know this much. We'll get this far. And so if I want to install, let's see if there is anything in there already. Oh, there is one in there already. Okay, so how do we find out its details? That's a good question. Inspect, maybe inspect. So this is gonna be fun. I don't know a whole lot about what's to do, what's available here. So I kind of want to see what we can do here to find out. Say, oh, there's a Helm get. What does that do? What do we got? Helm, inspect, Helm get. That's my dog in the background. All right, so that's not what we want. I just kind of want to see some details about it. I wonder how we can do that. Helm status on install release. Awesome, somebody's going to help me. Excellent. All right, let's have a look. Helm status, release name is required. So let's go Helm ls. Test 7. All right, cool. All right, sweet. Oh, I can see a whole bunch of stuff. All right, cool. I can see. All right, so this is what happened when I installed it. Okay, so there's a bunch of stuff in here. Oh, this is neat. All right, sweet. I'm learning. This is kind of cool. This is fun. All right, so that's there. So I'm gonna delete that. There's probably some nicer ways of doing that, but it's fine. Test 7. We'll kill that. That's fine. I did install Agones, so it is actually working. I'm running a 0.1 version. Let's show you. Let's actually do it, just for fun. Helm install name equals 0.1, for argument's sake. And we'll call it Agones 0.1. And install Helm Agones. Pretty much what we had before. So that's pushed all the things in. We've got a bunch of custom resource definitions and all sorts of good stuff here. We've got some RBAC stuff, and that's all running. So let's actually prove that this runs. We're gonna. I have a really simple C++ example that I use, which basically just fires itself up and then shuts itself down, and we can just see if this is working. So gameserver.yaml, cool. So that's created. If we describe, where is it? CPP. GS is game server, just a shorthand version of using that internally. Cool, that's ready, and it's given us a port. It's done all the things that Agones is meant to do. Dynamic port allocation, giving us the IP of where it's at. We can see all that good stuff is happening. Okay, sweet. That is a good start. So what I want to do is a couple of things. This was app version 0.1. We are now on... Ooh, so what do these things mean? I actually don't know. So why don't we find out? So let's see what we can find on... Nope, that's no fun. Okay, let's come over here. Look at charts. And I want to see what some of these values are, because I want to set this to 0.2. We've done a 0.1 release before. Here we go. And what I want to do is actually have it be 0.2 from this point forward. Now, do any of these values actually mean anything, or can I just make them whatever I want? It looks like I maybe be able to make whatever I want. So let's maybe even getting started. All right, so chart.yaml. What I want to see is what these values inside my chart.yaml are. Yeah, it doesn't necessarily say. Repository guide, possibly? We are doing it locally. No, okay, this is new. Okay, so chart.yaml. Why don't we do a search on chart.yaml and see what we get? Because it seems like this should be available. What am I doing? I am doing Helm chart.yaml. I got a question here. Newbar64, are you paid to work on open source projects? Technically, yes. So I work as a developer advocate for Google Cloud. I am the founder of Agones, and yeah, they pretty much pay me to do that, which is kind of cool. Oh, here we go. Copy link address. Here we go. Thank you very much, Lachlan. Let's see what we got going on here. Okay, chart.yaml file. Ah, this is awesome. Okay, perfect. Chart.yaml file is required for a chart. It requires the following fields: cube version, description, blah, 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 blah. All right, so keyword, sources, maintainers, engine, app version. The version of the app with this container option. This doesn't need to be Simber. Okay. Okay, so that actually sounds like what I do want to make that 0.2, because that's what I actually want. Lovely. Sounds good. What is there a version field? Where were we? 4. Version, a Semver 2 version required. Interesting. Okay, got it. All right, so that can also be 0.2. That's interesting. I didn't write this, so I don't know necessarily, but let's stick with that. Let's go with that. That seems like that's okay. Awesome. I'm gonna go into values. Oh, sweet! Somebody's already done half of the work here for me, which is lovely. There's a tag here of 0.1 already, which is why it works with the release version, because all of those repository images are already present. So that's cool. And we have default values for a whole bunch of stuff. That's really, really cool. Now, I've already done some work inside here. Where are we? I have a make file where I can do like building images. I've got stuff in here for, ooh, that's not very big. Let's make that bigger. No, that doesn't help. It doesn't like me at all when I do that. Ugh. All right, never mind. We will not worry about that. We're in, let's go Control Tab 0. Thank you. I'll bring up the structure view. That makes my life easy. Okay, we're in Makefile. Here we go. Where I've got a bunch of make targets, so I can create like a Minikube test cluster, create the shell we were talking about. Like I can push stuff up to Minikube, and I can install a Minikube. So this is the bit that I actually want to replace, and in fact may actually want to replace it across the board. But why don't we start? We'll start here. So I've actually got an install target. We look here that this is pretty ugly, right? Like this is not what we wanted previously. But you can see here, right? So I've got a bunch of variables that come through, and then I take this install YAML and I do a bunch of sed stuff to replace a whole bunch of values that is not, let's just say, not ideal. How does that work? I think that seems pretty reasonable. Okay, so this should now be 0.2. That's fine. So that's there. Now, there is actually one other thing I need to do. When we wrote this for 0.1. And now that I think about it, that means that things will be broken. Things will be broken because inside my install, we actually have something that we don't have inside the Helm chart. So let's add that as well. We have this thing in here, and I don't remember what it's called. Let me just find it. Here we go. Kubernetes has some nice interception points inside of it for validating and mutating values as they come through. So as you create new things like pods and stuff. And we can use that. So Newbard asks me, Newbard64, do you stream often? And yes, that's a dream job. Yes, this is a dream job. Working in DevRel is awesome. I'd be happy to chat about that lots. Developer relations is loads of fun. I have just started streaming. I'm going to try and stream basically committed at 9 a.m. every Tuesday. Pacific time, that's gonna be my plan, and then sort of drop in as often as I can and do like sort of a little hour session here and there, depending on how I go. But I'll try and put something on my feed or my Twitter account. You can see that below. So if you want to keep up to date with what I'm doing and be working on this Agones project, feel free to subscribe to both of those, and you'll see a little note. Usually I'll try and get something at about half an hour or so before I actually get on stream, so that you can see it happening. All right, so I'm going to need to add this validating webhook configuration, otherwise things are... Actually, they probably won't break, but they won't be accurate. So, blah. Cool. I want a new file. Perfect. We'll call it validating webhook. I think long term we'll probably have a folder for these, just because we'll have more than a few. But right now we've only got the one, so let's live with that, and we'll be happy with it. Ooh, and you know what I also will need, which I don't have, will be a copyright. I'll need to put the license at the top there. Let's do that. Okay, so that gives us a validating webhook configuration. Alright, so this is going to be no fun, but alright, so GST. Alright, so we have a few bits and pieces here. How do I want to do this? I'm going to say... I'm gonna commit this work in progress first pass at moving Helm to 0.2. Whoops, actually, sorry. I shouldn't be doing on the master branch. That's really bad. Oops. I see your comment there, Lachlan. I'm going to come back to that, and I'm also going to come back to that. Let me just fix what I just did that was bad. Where are we? Git reset soft head -1. Here, check out -b. That's better. Feature Helm 0.2. That's better. All right. Now let me commit this work in progress first pass to Helm 0.2. I'm doing that because the images that I build with Docker images are tied to my commit hashes. So I'm gonna create images for this stuff. I'm not gonna, actually I'll push it up too. This will probably make my frame rate drop just a little. So we'll see how we go. All right, so while that's going on in the background, and that takes a little bit of time because OBS is killing me, let's have a look. Okay, cool. What role does the make file play? Does K8s use it, or does it dictate how K8s should be used by another external system? The make file is really just a utility for doing all the development and making that easy and streamlining that as much as possible. If you actually come into the Agones project and have a look at, where are we? Coming down here, getting involved, contributing, like the build directory. Here we go. This is where it is. You can see we have a bunch of build targets for starting up Minikube clusters or starting up a Google Kubernetes engine cluster without you having to worry about some of the details. And then there's also steps in here for creating the images, generating stuff that needs to be generated. Basically, this will take you through each step of like building the images and then making changes and running tests and all that stuff. So it kind of is all trying to make it so that if you have Docker and Make installed, which you can run under WSL if you're running on Windows, you can get up and running really quickly and do fun stuff, get that really going. Lachlan, there's a nice template here for handling cert fun. Oh god, yeah, certs are like a nightmare for this stuff. Absolutely. Oh, you have a thing for it. Oh, that's awesome. So what Lachlan's talking about here, which is, that is super, super handy. Let me actually copy that URL because I'm just going to drop that in here so I can look at it later. This is cool. So I'll actually show you what we're talking about here, which is actually kind of neat while it's running in the background. You'll see this CA bundle here. So Kubernetes, when you do these webhooks for intercepting events, to make sure nothing horrible is going on, you can create your own certificate, and then you tell it what the public key is of the certificate, so it can be like, hey, that's right or that's wrong. Doing that dynamically is a little tricky, so we kind of punted on it for now, and we're just like, nope, we're not going to worry about it. We're just going to hard code in. That's basically a base 64 of the public key for the those webhooks. If you actually care at all, I think they're in here. Yeah, here's the actual certs, right? Ideally, down the line, what we want to do, and one of the reasons we moved to Helm actually was so that we could dynamically do some of this stuff, and dynamically generate these certs per install and do that kind of stuff. So I'm going to definitely have a look at that in the future. That sounds really, really useful. Excuse me, that's done. Cool. Yeah, so like the make file, for example, I ran a couple of targets there. I ran the build, which runs the build, tags it appropriately. So you'll see there's a gcr.io on its images, see 0.2, and then that's the beginning hash of the Git. There's a handy trick that I have in here for pushing stuff to Minikube that I really like, that was able to turn into a make target. I'll actually show you. It's all the way down the bottom. Here we go. Minikube transfer image. This is not my trick. I didn't make this up. But you can pipe images straight into Minikube, which means you don't have to push it up to the cloud and spin it back down again. So super handy. All right, cool. So we have those images. They are inside Minikube and ready to go. So what I want to do... So first step of what I would like to do is basically have this install just straight out using those images that I just created. So let's have a look. What were they called? Here we go. That should be my release. 0.2 and then that hash. That's my release version. So I'm going to... there's probably nicer ways of doing this, but we're just going to delete... Oops. Control, delete... I like to purge because... Yeah, we don't have to purge it. It's fine. Agones -0.1. Alright, so we'll we'll get rid of that. And there's that. Makefiles are great. I'm a huge fan of Makefiles. It's just a really easy way of automating things and making them happen. When I first started on my team, people were like, no, Makefiles, and now they're really into them. Okay, so... Okay, here we go. So, the thing I want to do... So, this is also interesting. I don't think I like how this is set up. I'm actually not a fan. The reason I'm not a fan is, and I might just live with it for just a second, but I want to consolidate this tag into a single value. That doesn't make me happy at all, actually. Because at no point should you be installing different versions of this from different places. That's just weird. In fact, some of this I might strip apart. Okay, but this gives me some ideas. But we'll live with this for the moment. And what I'm actually going to do is I have a little to-do directory for cleanup stuff. So consolidate in the values file. Just going to write a note. Tag should be a single value. Registry should be a single value. There we go. I will come back to that. Let's get something working, and then at least I have a thing. Yeah, what I would like to do is make this part here a single value, and this should be a single value, but that's okay. All right. So if I install it like this is actually going to fail, so we don't like that because 0.2 doesn't exist. We haven't done that release yet. So I want to set this up so that I can overwrite it. And then hopefully everything works, and we'll see how we go. All right, so Helm, let's have a look. Telling delays, blah, 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 charts. I want to Helm commands. Actually, that's probably the way to go. Helm install. Beautiful. I clicked it. There we go. Helm install. All right, cool. Helm install. I'm going to spin stuff up. But I want to overwrite values. Okay, set foo equals bar. Cool, I can do that. I'm going to assume a dot value that I can just do dots. One of my teammates wrote a thing, so let's actually have a look at that. That would be useful as well, because they wrote docs for us. So, installation guide. Install with Helm. Here we go, blah, blah, blah. If I want to use the Helm installation guide, which for some reason doesn't exist. There is a bug in the PR that we did. Oh, that's no good. Oh, oh, that's fun. All right, well, I know where that is. That's hilarious. Okay. I did not realize that. So if we go into sorry. We go to install, and we go into Helm, and we go to rename. Yeah, okay, here we go. There's a bunch of primitives. Oh, okay, sweet. Oh, okay, there we go. It literally actually tells me the thing I can do. All right, so let's see if this works. So Helm install name equals Agones 0.2. We'll say dev. We'll worry about that later. And there's probably some better ways of doing this. And I want to say, how do I pass this? Set equals that, and I want the other one as well. Now, are they multiple sets, or do I just do the one set? Oh, they're comma delimited. Nice. Okay, cool. I can do that. Comma. All right. Shall we see if this works? Let's go. Lachlan just literally said one argument, chart name. Oh, whoops. Install Helm Agones. All right, let's do that. All right, something happened. Let's see what happened. All right, so this looks good. Deployment came up, container creating. This is looking like it's working. So I'm actually just going to go bloop and copy paste that so that I have it in my clipboard. Nice. And all right, so what I wanted to do was just have a look. So kubectl logs, Agones. So I've got this controller that I have running in there, and it should give me some logs, and that works. That is freaking cool. All right, sweet. Yes, Lachlan, you can do a dry run debug, but that's nowhere near as fun as just making sure, seeing if it just runs, like working from there. So, we'll test my example like we did before. Example, CPP, name server. All right, kubectl get. We'll say just see what pods. All right, that looks like. We'll say game server CPP simple. Yep, that's all working. So that's pretty sweet. That was actually a whole lot easier. All right, cool. So let's leave that separate for now. I'm not going to worry about it. So let's come into our make file that we were looking at before. And I can where are we? Minikube install. All right, so this will be fun. So what actually happens when I do all these commands is it executes stuff inside the Kubernetes cluster. Again, this means I don't have to install anything locally. So what I want to do is have it run Helm instead. I'm gonna be a bit cheeky about this actually. I'm gonna go up to install. I'm gonna do it here, assuming the stuff I need is running. Now, I'm putting a little bit cart before the horse because I'm gonna assume that Helm's installed at this point, but that's okay. Let's do that. That's okay. I'm gonna copy some of this out, and we will take it from there. And we'll see what fails, which should be fun. Okay, so all right. Let's think this through. Yeah, so this is fun. Let's just get a simple version of this working. I think we will need to change some of these variables, but that's okay. Let's just get a simple version of this working, and then we can start rolling this out. So we're not going to worry about that. Actually, no, I don't care about image pool policy or pool sidecar. Just thinking this through. Okay, registry is something I do care about because that's the registry I have. I have that as an option to overwrite that. But we're not going to worry about that just yet. All right, so registry and version. Those are the two things I care about. And those, those are essentially tag. If I look at my chart YAML, not my chart YAML, if I look at my install Helm values. Cool, so there's these two tag values. All right, cool. So I can take this. I've got some just variables running in here, so common mounts, stuff like that. So I don't want a kubectl apply. So what's happening here, just so you're aware, I go docker run. Common mounts are just some persistent mounts I have locally. So just volume mount some stuff, then some optional arguments that can be passed in. Build tag is the tag of the build image that we're running. So we're doing that. And then we have some commands. So, oops, that's not the one I want. That's the one I want. All right, cool. So I'm going to drop that to the next line so that's a little bit easier to see. Interesting. Now, all right, so version. What's the version? Here we go. Here's the version. So we overwrote that in specifically there, so we can overwrite that here because that'll dynamically grab it. The make file's already ready to do that. Ooh, I need a path. Mount path. Beautiful. Let's drop that on the next line too. So that's a little easier to see. Okay, so that I have nice variables all set up here, which makes things super easy, which is nice. All right, so and you see that it says always pull sidecar and initial policy equals always. I'm going to ignore that for now. Pretend like that doesn't exist. Let's just comment that out. I have to decide what I want to do with that. We're not going to worry about that for this moment because we're actually just going to worry about Minikube, and Minikube is a little bit easier than if I'm pushing this up to an actual like GKE cluster or something like that. So we'll keep things simple. Docker run. Okay. What sort of name do we want to give this? Now this is an interesting question. I don't know the answer to this. I guess the question I ask myself is, what's my development loop look like here? Normally what I would do if I was doing regular Kubernetes is I'd just say Kubernetes apply -f, and it would just, if that configuration had changed, it would update it, and it would redeploy it again, so it's a new deployment, and it would keep on rolling through. If here and in Helm, I've done this before where I excuse me, do a Helm install with a name, and then when I go to Helm install again, it says, nope, sorry, you can't do that anymore because that's already there. Now there is a thing called Helm update, but I don't know how that works. So let's find out. All right, so charts probably is a good place to start. Charts repository guide, charts tips and tricks, not lifecycle hooks. This looks like it's all development. Installing, here we go. Using Helm, this sounds like a good place to start. Okay. All right, so this all comes through. We can search, I don't care about that. Helm install, installing a package. Okay, cool. All right, so we know how to do this. We can do a Helm install and name of the chart, beautiful. That installs it, that's great. Customizing the chart. All right, so we can change values. We've done that too, so that's cool. And what I want to know is install. Okay, Helm upgrade and Helm rollback, upgrading, release, and recovery on failure. Okay, cool. When a new version of a chart is released, or when you want to change the configuration of release, you can use the Helm upgrade. I wonder if there's an upset type thing. Upset would be handy, but let's have a look. An upgrade takes an existing release and upgrades it according to the information you provide. All right, that sounds cool. Because Kubernetes charts can be large and complex, Helm tries to perform the least invasive upgrade. Okay, it only update things that have changed since last release. So this sounds like standard Kubernetes. That sounds good. And then above case, Heavy Panda's release is upgraded with the same chart with a new YAML. Okay, we can use Helm get values to see whether the settings took effect, and then we can do rollbacks as well. Okay, that's cool. The question I ask is, how does this relate to a given name? This is kind of interesting. I don't know. All right, but this is, let's start simple and work our way forward, because it feels like I can use upgrade as I go, as changes come through, but I might need to write some code in my makefile to see if something already exists, and if it does, do an upgrade, and if it doesn't, do an install. This doesn't sound 100% ideal, but let's see if we can make that stuff work. All right, so let's just start with an install. I'm gonna start with just calling it Agones. I'm actually not sure whether it's usual for people to put like a release version in the name. Helm upgrade install. Just that's awesome. All right, thank you, Lachlan. All right, apparently that is the magic in upsert. Let's have a look. All right, so Helm commands. I'm gonna look up the definition here so we can see that. Here we go. Upgrade install. If released by this name doesn't exist, run and install. Woot! Fantastic. That's so awesome. Cool. All right. So that looks like that's exactly what I want. So I can just basically do an upsert. So in which case, yeah, let's just call this Agones. That sounds great. We don't need to put a version in here. That'll be part of the Helm chart values, it looks like. Hey, Lachlan, you work on Helm and the upstream. I had a feeling maybe that was the case, Lachlan, so thank you so much for hanging out with me and helping me along here. This is neat. I'm having lots and lots of fun. Cool. Newbard, you ask an interesting question. Why should I choose Kubernetes instead of App Engine? I'm quite new to Kubernetes. App Engine is quite cool. App Engine's a fun thing that I like to think of as like on the far right of our platform as a service. So basically, the short version is App Engine says, here are a lot of very prescriptive rules about how you build your application and how you serve it. But because we give you these specific rules, that means you don't have to worry nearly as much or even possibly at all about like scaling or like spinning up new versions or doing all that kind of stuff. There's a lot of cool stuff in there. So App Engine's great as long as you fit inside the rules that App Engine gives you. And a lot of apps do, and that's cool. Kubernetes basically allows you a little bit more freedom. I feel like it sits between this nice middle ground of like fully platform as a service and fully infrastructure as a service, right? Running your own like VMs and stuff. So you can kind of pick your level about how much you want to have managed. Obviously, I work for Google Cloud. There's Google Kubernetes Engine, so we do a managed version. But I don't get sort of, well, actually, I can do auto-scaling. There's auto-scaling stuff inside Kubernetes. It's a little bit more work, so you have to do a bit more work with it. But at the same time, then you get a whole bunch more flexibility. So pros and cons. You kind of have to choose which one you particularly like. So good question. All right, cool. So that looks like that should really be all I care about. All right, so actually, what's actually kind of cool is if I did this right down here on the Minikube, I shouldn't have to actually change anything. Always pull sidecar false. We'll come back to that. Pull policy not present. None of this should actually change. Just for interest's sake, if you care at all, because I'm running everything inside a Docker container and Minikube runs on a VM, I have to do some fancy network stuff to make sure it works just fine. So here's like your network host, for example. I have to run on network host, which is the same network as the machine, so I can access Minikube. And that's fine. That's why Minikube has its own targets, whereas there are actually like test, push, install targets for anything else. All right, sweet. So, all right, so Helm list. All right, so that's there. I'm going to get rid of that because we're going to put in a new thing that we're going to delete, purge. So I don't know. Love listens here. I'm going to ask for stuff. If I can get tab completion on names for Helm charts that are installed, that would be really nice. That'd be really sweet. Since you're sitting here and watching. All right, sweet. That's deleted. Yeah, I've got a bunch of old ones. You can see that. At some point, the nice thing about Minikube is great that I can just delete stuff. And so they can do stuff. So, okay. Oh my God, I can't pronounce that. Scumba. Somebody asked about basically what is Helm. All right, so Helm is a package manager for running applications on top of Kubernetes. So we can write templated stuff for building up our application and pushing it onto Kubernetes. Kubernetes is a whole other thing, which is running containers at scale. The way I like to look at Kubernetes, actually, if anyone's not as familiar with it, is just think of it as a programmatic system for running bits of software over thousands of machines, or possibly 3 machines. But that's basically, I think that's really it in my mind as a context. That's really cool. So that's finished. Let's see if this works. This could be fun. What am I thinking? I'm thinking that I should just say make Minikube install. Why is that not working? Oh, because I'm in the wrong thing. My bad. Okay. Make Minikube install. And this is why I do these make targets, right? So I don't have to write all these commands, and it makes my life easy. So here goes nothing. Okay, something failed. Okay, what did I break? Unknown flag name. Interesting. Okay. Alright, so I tell you what we will do is actually copy this command, which is actually nice. So we can do that. So if we go Helm upgrade, grab that, pop that up, drop that in, and let's see if we get the same error. We do. Okay, so it's not happy about name. Let's see. All right, let's see what's going on here. If I look at upgrade, there's a name for the release. Right. So when doing an install, I normally do a -- name, but when I'm doing an upgrade, I specify the name directly in there. And it looks like, according to here, they like it last. That works. I can work with that. I wonder if it actually makes a difference, but excuse me, that's okay. All right, sweet. So let's pop back up. All right, so rather than saying name, we can actually, all right, so let's take that out. Pop, pop, pop. Let's put that there. It's a little easier to see. All right, let's try that again. Really good content. Thank you, Nubar. I really appreciate that. I'm going to try and do this a lot. I'm having a lot of fun doing this. It's been really interesting. This is a whole new thing for me, so I'm having lots of fun with it. So let's see how we go. All right, let's try that again. All right. Ooh, interesting question. Okay, so there's nothing in Helm. I know if I've done a install and it's failed, sometimes it hangs out. So let me grab another cough drop. Unfortunately, I was at I was at GDC last week, a week before last, and I was sick before I went. And going all the way through Game Developers Conference at the same time, while sick, did not make things better, strangely enough. All right, so let's try this again. Make Minikube install. Ooh, stuff happened. All right, cool. Let's scroll up, and actually I'll zoom that bigger so we can see what's going on. Will I code some Go in this stream? Oh, probably not today. Probably not today. I'm just looking at my time. I like to do sort of hour blocks. So I was really just going to focus in on these build tools. Normally, actually, I do a lot of Go. I normally do a whole lot of Go. So the project that I'm working on, you'll see a link to it below. It's agones.dev. It's all in Go in there. And I've got a bunch of features that I'm working on right now. So right now I'm just looking at build tools. So doing my Docker and Helm stuff. So I'll get that working, and then we'll see. We'll continue on with some features. So I'll bounce around a little. This looks like it worked, which is really good. And look at that. Release Agones does not exist. Installing it now. That's awesome. This makes me really, really happy. All right, so kubectl, where am I? Sorry. So kubectl logs, just check to see that if it's doing what it's meant to be doing. Beautiful. I can see all the stuff that the controller is meant to be doing, which is great. The controllers, I'm not going to talk about that today. That's a whole other thing. It's how Agones actually works behind the scenes. But that's working. So that's cool. All right, sweet. All right, so in which case, the other thing I want to test then, because this is really cool. I'm really excited. Oh, I should actually test to make sure this works. Well, it should do, right? It should do. It's all the same version. So let's do it anyway. YAML, cool. Holden, that's lovely. I have no idea how to code, but let me tell you, so far you're the most engaging streamer in the open source Twitch community. That is absolutely delightful. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. That's lovely. That's really, really lovely. Cool. Thank you so much. That's just made me blush a little. That's really nice. All right. So I'm gonna have a look at the game server, GS, which is game server, CP simple. See whether it's doing the things it's doing. So I fired up a game server. Yeah, this is all working. This is great. So when you fire up a game server inside Agones, one of the things that it does is it gives it a dynamic port allocation and grabs the IP address that you can connect to, so that your game's players can connect to it. And it does a whole bunch of state management here too, so you can see it's ready, so it can take connections, that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's all working, which is kind of neat. All right, so that's working. So the thing I want to see happen is I want to make a change to my code and see it get reflected through my build process, and that should all still work. I was going to have to update all this stuff to make it work still too, but that was remarkably simple, which is really cool. So I'm actually really excited about this. This is actually really, 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 really cool. Okay, so let's see. Actually, we don't actually need to change the code. What's actually cool? So my build system works by basing the tag for that Docker image, which you would have seen installed, on a base value, which is 0.2, and the hash of the Git repository, the Git commit that I last did. So if I look at GLG, you'll see here it says like 1B, 2B, 00, right? And if I look at ctl describe, where are we? Namespace, Agones, save component. If I look at what I've actually deployed, yeah, so you'll see here, right? So this series 0.21B, like that's the beginning of that hash, and that's that hash here. So what my build system does, and it does that automatically, right? I do that through the make files, and it also propagates. Ooh, that's awesome. Lachlan just put in a PR to answer my question in the docs about my upsert. So that's sweet. Thank you, Lachlan. I love open source. All right, cool. So what I was saying before I got excitedly interrupted was that yeah, all I need to do is make a commit. And that'll change my image and rebuild stuff. And it'll actually change my logs too. So if I actually say kubectl logs, if I'm gonna look at my logs for my system, I want to say head, top. It's a way just to get the top. So what do I want? Nope. All right, that's fine. So if we actually look at the top parts of the logs, you can see that I actually have that version in the log. That actually, part of my build process, push that into the binary. There's ways in Go of changing values on compile time, so I do that. So I can actually see exactly what I'm running when I look at my logs too, so we can see that change. So Git commit first part of integrating Helm with the build system seems to be working. It's exciting. All right, cool. So now I see, right? I pointed out at my computer. No one can see it. Now you can see like my hash here has changed. So build images, and I will push that up. All right, so that'll run in the background while that's going on. It takes a little bit while. Thank you, Lachlan. Why don't I have a look at what you wrote while we're here and that's happening in the background? So, good stuff is good to know. That is some great documentation. So let's see what you wrote. All right, values, using Helm. Fun note, the upset command for installing the Helm chart is Helm, which will install. Ah, that's fantastic. Thank you, Lachlan. I do like open source. All right, cool. All right, so, that's kicking through quite nicely, which is great. Ooh, oh, what else have you got for me here, Lachlan? New tab. Oh yeah. Oh, a bunch of new blah blah blah. A cycle stale. Ah. Fair enough. 2017. At least I'm not the only one asking for it, which is good. It would be lovely. It would be lovely. So that's neat. One of the things I really like actually, which is the kubectl does all this stuff, which is lovely. Maybe you should look there. That's my suggestion. All right, so that's doing a bunch of compilation. What can we look at in the meantime? So let's have a look-see here. Values.yaml. So I do want to join this together. That I definitely want to keep. That's all nice. I do want to turn this into its own value, but that's okay. And so if you've never looked at a chart before, they're pretty straightforward, which is quite neat. Chart YAML has a bunch of details like what it is and how it works. Values are your default values. They get used in templates across the board, so that's also cool. And then you can set up basically whatever you want. So here I have a deployment. Let's not look at the fact that it's still a beta 1 extension, even though there's a newer version. I need to fix that. I just copy pasted some code and didn't even realize it until I saw it come up in here as it's deprecated. So just ignore that. We'll just be hand wavy about that. And then you can sort of just add in all this stuff. So here, all sorts of interesting things. Here we can see like some environment variables and some other stuff that we push through that are interesting and exciting. It's really just a templating system, and you can just put in whatever you want. The nice thing about Helm too is if you're more familiar about Kubernetes, is it'll reorder stuff into what it seems to be the correct order for things. I've only run into an issue with this once with RBAC, but I won't go into that now. But generally, it's really, really cool. What setup are you using? OS IDE terminal. Oh, that's a good question. So I'm a hardcore Linux user. Oh, I don't know about hardcore. Hardcore is relative. But I am a Linux user, so I'm running Debian on my machine. This is IntelliJ for my IDE. I love IntelliJ. I've been using it for a really long time for just about everything. Everything from JavaScript to Go to Haskell to Kubernetes even. I have a plugin somewhere. This is... I can drop this in and out really easily because I run a tiling window manager called Xmonad, and it lets me basically control everything that I want to have happen inside my machine. And with operating system, IDE term, yeah, and then there's just ZSH. This is tmux for terminal muxing, so I can switch sessions really nicely. And up here, this is actually just my terminal that's running inside a Docker container, and that's just Bash. But this one down here is ZSH with a bunch of plugins installed. Anyway, all right, so that image has been updated. So if I go make minikube install, this should, so actually let's have a look, GLG, so we should get A0FE in our thing. So let's go make install. see what happens. Oh, something died. What died? Could not get Kubernetes config for context. Oh. Oh, sorry. No, I called the wrong command. Minikube install. Sorry, this is why there's that difference. Okay. All right, that looks like, okay, so what did this actually say? Let's have a look-see. Warning, namespace didn't match with previous release, will be deployed to default. Ooh, that's a worry. Because I push a bunch of stuff to a different namespace. I wonder what that's done. Okay, namespace default. Okay, but that's interesting. So when I did my last deploy, where did that go? Namespace default. Okay, so it may not actually be a problem. It may just be a false flag. Okay, that should be terminating. That looks right. Okay, so this looks like it should be okay. Where are we? GLG, let's look. That's our commit, right? So we should see that it's now logs. So we'll go logs. Namespace Agone system. There's our pod. I just want the head. I don't care about anything else. A0FE0728. Sweet. That looks like that worked, which is super cool. So I now have kind of updated my build system to use Helm, or at least the basics of it. I do want to tidy this up a little so the tag becomes a central value. Let me pull that up, but that looks like that's pretty good. So actually I don't need to commit that, which is nice. Cool. All right, so that's actually been, no, we'll still go for a little bit longer. It's not quite 5 o'clock here in San Francisco. So I'll tell you what, why don't we actually do some of that work to pull that tag together into a central place, and we can see how templates propagate through everything, because that sounds like fun. Okay, so let's break things. I like breaking things. Breaking things are fun. Let's see how we go. I have been running for, yeah, that's fine. No, we're good. Okay, so my thinking is we're going to do two things. We're going to say registry. We're going to pull the tag up to here. Actually, we're going to call it version rather than tag. Do we like that, or do we want to call it tag? No, I changed my mind. We'll keep it tag. That's the vernacular for Docker. That's better. That becomes that, because that just seems weird otherwise. I'm thinking, no, image. Image is better. So there's the registry, which is where it comes from. There's the image. And then there's the tag, which is more global. I think that's going to be working a little bit better. Updates. Thanks for joining us. I really need to do some stuff to send a message to say what I'm doing. So I'm working on the build system for an open source project called Agones. I'm basically tweaking my Helm chart to be the way that I want it to be exactly. Newbard, you ask an interesting question. I'm working on Go currently and would like to test microservices with Kubernetes. So I'm guessing the question is that you want to test them, not necessarily that you want to, you're not looking for help on writing them. So you're looking to do sort of end-to-end tests for big distributed system type stuff. Would that be accurate? Okay. Let me know what you think. End-to-end testing for big distributed systems is hard and complicated, but fun. I have some thoughts on that, actually. So actually, if you're doing big distributed system stuff, I would take a very close look at this project here. If I can spell properly, OpenCensus. OpenCensus is really dope. What I like about it is it does two things. It does both metrics and tracing for libraries. and it works across multiple languages and has multiple backends. So not only can you push metrics to things like Prometheus and Stackdriver, you can also push tracing to things like Zipkin or Jaeger or a bunch of stuff. So it kind of abstracts it away, which is kind of nice. Oh, you just want not running tests. Oh, you just want to use it? So I'm a big fan of gRPC. gRPC gets used inside this project. It's definitely worth checking out. I quite like it because it allows you to have a contract between stuff, which is quite nice. Okay, so I broke stuff. At some point during this stream, my dog will bark at things. That will happen. She's a big dog, and it will happen. You saw her photo at the beginning. Cool. Optics, this programming language. So this is just, I'm mostly tweaking configuration and make files right now. That's really what I'm doing. So what was I doing? That's right. I have just broken things. So let's fix them. All right. So there'll be a couple of places these get used. So let's have a look. So there's my values. Those are broken. Nope. What did I do with that? Controller. Controller is the things that I need. Okay. So I broke the image. So let's start with that. Image pool policy. Yep, that's fine. Perfect. All right. So this should be image.registry now. / this is literally the first time I think I've edited a Helm chart. So we'll see how we go. All right, so that becomes then image.controller .image. I don't know if I like that image thing. That feels icky. Maybe I will go back to name. See if that's a vernacular that works. That feels okay here. And then image.tag. See, that feels nice. Yeah, I think that works. I think that's good. That's good. That's decent Docker vernacular. I might do some research and see whether that works. Okay, the other thing that gets passed through. So one of the things the controller does. So when you create a game server as a resource inside Kubernetes, this thing looks for that, and then it actually goes and creates a thing called a pod, which is a series of containers all hooked together, and you need to tell it, generally speaking, which image to use. It has a default. Why is it not doing what I want? Here we go. Thank you. Oh, it was folded. So I couldn't click on it. Okay, there we go. That's better. Now I can see what's going on. Yeah, that's the things you learned. There are things to click on. All right, cool. So, and there's a sidecar that comes through. And it's a sidecar specifically for the SDK. And so that should now be a lot better. Why is it just double? There we go. That's better. Values, image. Oh, no. There we go. There we go. That looks better. I knew something was a little bit wrong. Okay, that looks like it should be right. So in theory, that should be. What other changes did I make? Anything? Tag, controller, name. Let's have a look, actually. So let's have a look at this. So if we have a look at Docker image, say like name, is that a or an image? The repository and their tags and their size. So for example, if I look at, actually, if I go just for argument's sake, I don't know what Docker images I have on here so that I can expose. So let's actually log in here and we say Docker images. So it does call it repository for the full thing. Interesting. I think that's okay though. Yeah, repository, tag I think is the right word for that. That works. I think I can stick with name. I think name's okay. I'll submit the PR and see if anyone complains. Else who's working on this. Okay. Excuse me. Talking for now makes me cough. But we will finish up soon. I think we'll finish up on the hour. Sweet. Okay, cool. All right, let's see if this works. So I can do a dry run of this. Lachlan brought this up earlier and is worth noting. So why don't we do that? Excuse me. So here's an interesting one. Oop, I'm using the wrong one. Come here. Does Helm upgrade have a dry run? This is a good question. Let's have a look. Helm upgrade dry run. There we go. Dry run. Dry run simulates an upgrade. That's cool. Does it have a debug though? It does not. Whereas Helm install does have a debug, which will show me all the things, right? Helm install, Helm install, Helm install, Helm install, Helm install. Devrel, dep up. Oh, it doesn't say anything. Dash debug. Ah! What is that from? Comment options from this point include enable verbose output. Okay, so it looks like I can do that anyway. So, alright, well then... You know what, let's just try it because I've got these make files and they kind of do everything, and then if it doesn't work or I get stuck, then I'll inject those debug commands into the make file. So let's live on the edge. So in which case, actually, what I need is a new commit to make sure that this works, which is what we want to do anyway. So first pass at refactoring Helm default values to be more centralized. And yes, I spell centralized with an S because I'm Australian. Of course, unfortunately, I have to build all my images, and that takes a little while. But not too bad, which is all right. That can run in the background. So that looks pretty. That's going pretty well. If I come back up to install. Now I do have some other, all right, so I don't need to worry about registry. I've done that. I did have some other arguments. Always pull sidecar and image pull policy, which works nicely when I'm running on Kubernetes in the cloud, not running on Minikube. So I can do those two, but I'm not going to worry about that right now. I'll do that after this. This gets us started. How are we doing? That's still building. That's fine. Okay. Here we go. Lachlan says interesting things. If you're looking for charts to reference for naming, etc., remember looking at the charts of the upstream repo. Oh, cool. Well, let's have a look at that while we're sitting here. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, actually, this is really cool. And Lachlan brings up a really interesting point. So if you haven't looked at Helm before, Helm has a bunch of stable and I think, what is it, unstable? What's the phrase? Incubator. There we go. And test charts as well. So if you're saying to yourself, hey, I want to be able to install pick a thing, etcd or GitLab or Jenkins or half a dozen other things, and I want a really easy way of doing it, then you can actually go Helm install and you can pick some of these charts that are available. And there's lots of them, which is also super, super cool. Long term, I think we'll end up doing this for Agones once we have a 1.0 release, so that'll be really sweet. It's also referencing upstream. Oh, that's really cool, Lachlan. So you're saying that I can actually, if I wanted to be like inside Agones, I want to install etcd, I could reference the etcd a package and then have that as part of my package, and like they could all work together. That would actually be really cool. I don't think I need etcd, but if I did, there have been some interesting conversations about that kind of stuff. That's actually really cool. There are depths. That's really cool. Helm is sweet. I have to admit, it's really cool. Originally, when we first started talking about how we want to do tooling for Agones, excuse me, I was originally thinking, I honestly was actually thinking, you know what, let's just roll our own. We'll do like some binaries and we'll do it all through the Kubernetes API. And then some of the people I'm working with started like showing me what the features were for Helm, and there's just so much nice stuff in there that I was like, okay, you know what, this is just silly. I'm not gonna worry about it. My biggest gripe with Helm was that there's a tiller command that runs inside, and that's just another thing that you need to install. But actually, installing tiller is super easy, so I really can't complain too much. That's really like not the end of the world, so I can't really complain that much. All right, cool. So what did I just do? I totally just forgot. Oh, cool. Yeah, that's right. I just changed the things. If I look at my my thing coming, Tillerless is coming. Lachlan tells me good things. I actually don't necessarily have a problem with Tiller anymore. So, but that is interesting and good to know. So we're still away from a 1.0 release. So we're still a thing away. So let's see if this works. Cool. Minikube install. Let's see what happened. This looks super promising. I'm really curious what this warning is. Namespace doesn't match with previous, but it doesn't look like it cares. So I'm not going to care. All right, cool. That deployed. We have some secrets, which is interesting. That's a whole other thing. Never mind. Validation webhooks. That's cool too. Cool. That looks like it worked. Oops. Let me get here. kubectl namespace Agones. So yeah, let's get deployments. Interesting. So that's still there, but oops, wrong one. Get pods. Ooh, something broke. I did something bad. Okay, what did I do that's bad? Let's have a look. Let's just go. So I can actually introspect this a couple of different ways, but I will actually just describe the pod because it'll tell me exactly what we ended up with. Here we go. So this looks like image. Here we go. So I didn't get the hash. That didn't come through. Why didn't that come through? I got everything else. So the registry came through, that's fine, which is there. The name came through, that's there, but I just got 0.2. I did not get the hash come through of what's going on. Okay, so that's fine. I'll let that sit there and do that in the background. It's broken, but that's okay. Let's think about this. Let's have a look. Image SDK.tag. Oh, I need to change things here, of course. So I changed it in my values.yaml, but I didn't change anything in what I was passing through. So it took my default values, of course. That just makes sense. So this actually means that this becomes simpler too. Get rid of that. And actually, I'm gonna actually do two things, which I can do now as well. Which is where are we? Registry. Registry is if you're running your own Kubernetes cluster, or say you're running on a GKE project, you'll have a different registry. So image.registry registry. Beautiful. So that should actually work as well. So image.tag, image.registry. So that makes sense why that doesn't work. That can go away. That can go away. All right, that's cool. So I'm actually cleaning stuff up. All right, let's run that. Let's see how we go. Okay, that's looking like it's terminating. That's good. We made a change. Something changed. All right. If we get this working, I think we might call it a day. Let's what do I want? kubectl namespace Agones get pods. That looks better. All right. If you describe that for me. And let's make that bigger. Got its controller. It's got the right thing in it. Cool. And it's got the registry in it, so that's overridable as well. This is cool. I'm actually super happy with how this is coming together. Nice. Actually, super happy. kubectl logs, kubectl Agones. Let's actually just see what the logs look like. Everything looks perfect. This is great. This is actually really, really great. Awesome. All right. I think I'm actually going to stop here. So let me actually commit this. Git add. Git commit. Passing through the registry and tag values from the make file. Awesome. Yeah, so thanks to everyone who hung out with me for the last hour. That was super cool. I really appreciate you hanging out. Like I said a little bit, and it says down below, I'm going to try and be very consistent about doing 9 a.m. So we're doing a 1 hour session, 9 a.m. Pacific, on Tuesdays. So I'll keep that going. But yeah, follow me, and I'll put stuff in my whatever the thing is called. What do I call that thing in the announcement section? Channel feed. That's the word. Channel feed, or follow me on Twitter as @neurotic. I'll normally throw something out on Twitter about when I'm going to start doing stuff again. Everything here. Yeah, I could be working on Helm. I could be working on Go Code. It really just depends on what I'm working on that week for getting stuff done. But always happy to answer questions and explain stuff. There's a lot of really cool things going on in this project. If you're interested, agones.dev, you can see all the code. It's all open and available. You can see it all there. And I'd probably be remiss if I didn't mention that I'm also part of the Google Cloud Platform podcast. So if you find me vaguely entertaining, you may find that entertaining as well. Awesome. Well, thank you very much, everyone. And I'll see you all at some point, hopefully in the future.